You're going to zip up your code. You're going to put it into Blackboard. All of these, don't worry if you're not going to remember everything right now. I am in the process of just creating the quote-unquote assignments within Blackboard, and they're going to be all opened. But within those assignments, I'm going to lay out what I'm looking for specifically. So for the code delivery, if you have a database, hopefully it's not on your local system. That way I can wander your code, take a look at it, see how it works, etc. If your code is a local database, I need to have the SQL script to recreate that database, and hopefully a SQL script to also populate it with whatever temporary data you have in yours. Again, I will post that all inside of a document. Final week of this class, so the final Friday, is going to be the class presentations. You will be required to present to the entire class what you did. And again, I'm going to lay out all the different aspects of what I want to see in the presentation. It doesn't have to be a full-blown product presentation, but we ideally want to see it working, see if you have some screenshots potentially. I don't like screenshots usually because people fake them. I don't want it faked. I want you to do a presentation. So you're going to have to deliver to all your peers, and over the course of 15 minutes, explain why you did it, what the final product was, and again, I'll lay out all of what the talking points I want. One of the points with the 15-minute presentation, everyone needs to speak. So therefore, everyone needs to be attending class that day. If you do not present, you lose a good chunk of the presentation. Now, I recognize some people have social anxiety. This is much nicer because we have a certain amount of anonymity. You can hide behind your monitor. So we'll be presenting through Blackboard and going through that whole process. But everyone needs to have a point of talking. You need to get comfortable-ish. You have to be capable of talking to your peers. This is what we do. As a coder, everyone thinks as a coder, I can hide in a corner. It's the perfect introvert kind of job, and it is. But every once in a while, we do have to talk to people. We do have to present what we're doing. We do have to talk to a meeting. And that's what this is going to be working on as well. And then there's going to be a final block of documentation that I want you to submit. And this documentation is going to be your typical lessons learned, sort of meta-knowledge, introspection to what you did within the project, because you can never learn from any project unless you actually analyze everything that happened, that went well, that went horribly. So this final documentation is this close-up documentation as well. And that'll be worth 5% of your final grade as well. So that's where we're looking at going for the remainder of the term. Are there any questions? All right, so given that, we're on the March 25th. We have 2 more weeks of working time. Doesn't mean you're not only doing 3 hours in class. Hopefully everyone's doing a bit of, let's call it assignment coding. You're doing some coding after the class time period. So ideally, I'm probably looking at about anywhere between 4 to 6 hours a week of coding. You should be able to have a substantial product, especially if you have a larger group. 3 or 4 people coding at 6 hours a week times the entire time we've been capable of coding. So over 11 weeks, that's a lot of time. So again, I do take that into consideration when I take a look at what your final prototype was. I take a look at the complexity involved. If it's just a very simple project that you could have done in 3 weeks, I do recognize and I do understand what different developers' capabilities are. I recognize that you're students. I also recognize the time you had to work on this. So you've been slacking. You're going to have to start burning the midnight oil and doing a lot more coding in order to get up to speed. I can't give you an exact, this is exactly what I expect. For those of you who are skimping, you know what I'm talking about. You know that you haven't been putting in an appropriate amount of effort. So self-awareness, and if not, there's going to be a bit of a wake-up call when I take a look at what you've delivered. When I take a look at what you've delivered and when I take a look at what your final presentation is going to look like. All right, so more weeks worth of coding. I will be sitting here with my ears on, listening. If you have help, if Git decides to give you more problems again, as some students have been encountering repeatedly, is the beat. Raise your hand. I'll join in. I'll talk. If you have questions, maybe specifically about the timeline, about deliverables, etc., raise your hand. I'll come over and I'll chat. I'll put us into our breakout rooms, and in that breakout rooms, you're welcome. Stay online. Or you're welcome to leave. As long as you're doing your time, that's fine. But I will keep myself logged in, paying attention. Maybe I might be busy working on another screen and I might not see your message pop up. Just have patience, and I will get to you as soon as I can. So if there's no further questions, we're free to roll. Got the remainder of this period in order to work on your assignment. And again, I'm here for any help if you need.